Ladies and gentlemen, you might think men are oblivious, that we move through life barely registering the details that women consider important. But let me tell you something. Men notice. We may not always articulate it. We may not even fully understand what we're noticing. But deep down, we register far more than we let on. And today I want to talk about something that's rarely discussed, yet absolutely crucial. The 7 things senior women have no idea men notice about them. Not in some superficial, passing sense, but in a deep, psychological, and perhaps even spiritual way. Men are highly attuned to the way a woman carries herself, even if they don't consciously articulate it. Body language, posture, and movement convey more than words ever could. A woman who walks with purpose, who holds her head high and maintains strong posture, communicates confidence and self-respect. Conversely, a woman who slouches, moves hesitantly, or avoids eye contact signals insecurity or weariness. This isn't just about appearances, it's about presence. The way you carry yourself reflects your internal state. A woman who has endured hardship but still moves with grace and assurance demonstrates resilience. Men pick up on that. It speaks of someone who has faced life's challenges and emerged with a sense of dignity rather than defeat. There's a kind of unspoken authority in the way a strong woman moves, and it commands respect. It's also about energy. People often assume that only youthfulness exudes vitality, but that's not true. A woman with poise and self-awareness projects a different kind of vitality, one rooted in wisdom and lived experience. A confident, self-assured presence makes a woman compelling at any age. It suggests that she knows her worth, that she has nothing to prove, and that she owns the space she occupies. Men notice these details instinctively. They might not always be able to put it into words, but they can feel the difference between a woman who has given up and one who still moves through life with purpose. The way you walk, stand, and even gesture tells a story. And if that story is one of quiet strength and assurance, it is impossible to ignore. Men are drawn to a woman's level of engagement with the world because it signals something deeper than mere intelligence. It reflects a sense of aliveness. A woman who remains curious, who continues to learn, explore, and form opinions, possesses a rare quality that transcends age. Engagement is not just about staying informed. It's about having an active mind, a presence that suggests she is still invested in life. A man notices when a woman speaks passionately about a topic, whether it's literature, politics, art, or even something as simple as a new skill she's learning. There is a distinct energy in someone who refuses to become passive, who chooses to interact with the world rather than withdraw from it. This engagement makes her dynamic, interesting, and ultimately more attractive. It signals that she has not resigned herself to routine or complacency. When a woman disengages, when she stops being curious, stops expressing opinions, stops seeking out knowledge, it becomes noticeable. There is a difference between someone who is merely going through the motions and someone who is fully present. A disengaged person may appear indifferent, uninterested, or even dull, but a woman who still has intellectual and emotional vitality commands attention without trying. This kind of engagement also shapes conversation. A woman who stays informed and has meaningful perspectives can hold deeper, more stimulating discussions. She becomes someone a man wants to listen to, not just because of what she says, but because of the conviction behind it. Men respect women who have a sense of curiosity and a willingness to engage with new ideas. It shows that life has not dulled her, that she is still growing, still evolving, and still deeply present in the world around her. Life is, by its very nature, filled with suffering. No one escapes hardship, but the way a woman handles adversity speaks volumes about her character. Men notice whether a woman allows pain to embitter her or whether she transforms it into wisdom and strength. Hardship can either break a person or refine them, and the way a woman carries her struggles leaves an unmistakable imprint on her presence. A woman who has faced challenges yet maintains grace and composure exudes a quiet power. It's not about pretending everything is fine or suppressing emotions. It's about resilience, the ability to stand firm in the face of difficulty without being consumed by resentment or despair. This kind of strength is deeply attractive, not in a superficial way, but in a way that commands deep respect. It shows emotional maturity, the ability to endure without becoming fragile, and a refusal to see oneself as a victim. Men are particularly attuned to the way women speak about their past struggles. Do they talk about hardship with a sense of perspective and growth, or do they dwell in bitterness and blame? A woman who constantly recounts her misfortunes with resentment signals that she is stuck in her suffering rather than learning from it. But a woman who acknowledges her struggles, extracts wisdom from them, and moves forward with grace demonstrates a profound kind of beauty, one that is rooted in strength rather than mere appearance. There is an undeniable dignity in a woman who has suffered yet remains open, kind, and hopeful. It suggests depth, self-awareness, and emotional fortitude. Men respect and admire this kind of resilience because it reveals a person who is not just surviving, but thriving despite life's inevitable difficulties. A woman's eyes reveal far more than she might realize. They are windows into her emotions, her experiences, and even her worldview. Men instinctively pick up on this, often without being consciously aware of it. There is an undeniable difference between eyes that are warm, kind, and alive versus eyes that are distant, hardened, or indifferent. When a woman maintains a sense of warmth in her gaze, it signals something essential: openness. It shows that despite life's hardships, she has not closed herself off to connection, to joy, or to the people around her. A warm gaze conveys empathy, understanding, and even a quiet confidence that comes from having truly lived. This is something men notice, even if they can't quite put their finger on why they find it so compelling. On the other hand, a woman whose eyes have lost that warmth often appears guarded or detached. This isn't about wrinkles or age. Those things don't diminish beauty. What does make a difference is whether the light of curiosity and kindness still exists within. A woman who has allowed bitterness or disappointment to take over will often carry it in her expression, and that unspoken emotional weight is something men can perceive immediately. It's also about how present she is. Eyes that are truly engaged show a person who is listening, who cares about the moment she is in, who is receptive to conversation and connection. A lack of presence, on the other hand, makes even the most physically attractive person seem unapproachable or uninteresting. Men may not always articulate it, but they are drawn to women whose eyes reflect depth, kindness, and a continued engagement with life. It signals a richness of character that no amount of external beauty can replace. Laughter is one of the most revealing aspects of a person's character. It reflects not only their sense of humor, but also their outlook on life. Men pay attention to the way a woman laughs, whether it is genuine, whether it comes from a place of joy, or whether it feels forced and empty. There is a profound difference between laughter that is spontaneous and laughter that is merely a social habit. When a woman laughs with authenticity, it signals that she still finds joy in the world, that she has not allowed cynicism or hardship to drain her ability to appreciate life's lighter moments. This kind of laughter is contagious. It draws people in because it is real. A woman who laughs freely and sincerely shows that she is comfortable with herself, that she is present, and that she still takes pleasure in the little things. Conversely, when laughter is strained or mechanical, it often suggests deeper emotional exhaustion. A person who rarely finds amusement in anything, or whose laughter feels obligatory rather than heartfelt, can seem distant or disengaged. Men notice when someone's laughter lacks warmth. It's a signal that something inside has been dulled, that the ability to experience true delight may have diminished over time. It's not about constantly laughing or forcing humor into every situation. It's about the underlying spirit behind it. A woman who can still laugh with sincerity, who can appreciate humor and find lightness in everyday life, possesses an energy that is deeply attractive. It shows that despite everything, she is still connected to joy, still open to life's small pleasures, and still willing to share that warmth with others. That kind of authenticity is noticed and deeply valued. The way a woman speaks about men reveals far more than just her personal experiences. It reflects her overall perspective on relationships, respect, and even her own self-perception. Men notice this, even if they don't always respond to it directly. Words carry weight, And when a woman consistently speaks about men with kindness, respect, or appreciation, it creates an entirely different atmosphere than when she speaks with cynicism, resentment, or ridicule. A woman who acknowledges the flaws of men but still sees their strengths and virtues communicates balance and maturity. She understands that no one is perfect, but she doesn't reduce men to stereotypes or treat them as adversaries. This doesn't mean ignoring past disappointments or failing to set boundaries. It means recognizing the complexity of human nature and choosing to focus on what is constructive rather than what is bitter. On the other hand, when a woman speaks about men with habitual negativity, whether through casual complaints, sarcasm, or outright hostility, it leaves an impression. Men may not argue or call it out, but they will internalize the message that she sees them as the enemy, as fundamentally flawed, or as unworthy of respect. And respect, whether spoken or unspoken, is the foundation of any meaningful connection. What a woman says about men is also in many ways a reflection of how she sees herself. If she speaks from a place of strength, confidence, and fairness, it suggests that she is secure in who she is. But if her words are laced with contempt or frustration, it can indicate unresolved wounds or disappointments. Men notice these subtleties, and whether they choose to engage or distance themselves is often shaped by the tone a woman sets and how she speaks about them. Character is not something that can be faked. It is revealed in moments of challenge, in the way a person treats others, and in the quiet consistency of their actions over time. Men notice the strength of a woman's character, even if they don't always verbalize it. They recognize when a woman has built herself into someone of depth, integrity, and resilience. This is not about perfection or trying to impress. It is about the substance that comes from truly knowing oneself. A woman who carries herself with quiet confidence, who does what is right even when no one is watching, and who has a strong moral compass is impossible to ignore. She does not seek validation through approval or attention because her worth is already established within. Men respect and admire this because it signifies emotional maturity and self-assurance, qualities that create stability in any relationship. On the other hand, when a woman lacks inner strength, when she wavers in her values, speaks negatively about others, or seeks external validation at the expense of her integrity, it is just as noticeable. Inconsistency in character creates an unease that men instinctively pick up on, even if they don't immediately understand why. A woman who cannot stand by her beliefs or who is easily swayed by circumstances appears uncertain, and uncertainty erodes respect. True strength is not about dominance or proving oneself. It is about resilience, kindness, and a quiet but unshakable sense of self. A woman who has built a strong character over the years exudes a presence that cannot be ignored. She is respected not just for what she says or does, but for who she is. And that, more than anything, is what men truly notice.